Lampman's able to send it in. It hits the referee, Koharski. Westgard slides into the Wolfpack zone, and it's going to go all the way through to Montoya, who plays it to Lampman. He fends off Ryan. Now we've got a fight going. It's Paul Crosty for Manchester and Lessard. Lessard throwing left hands. Crosty hanging on, and Lessard spins into the ice. And the linesman will jump in. Crosty is a product of Brown University. He came up in January to the Monarchs from Toledo of the ECHL and has fashioned himself as a tough guy here in the American League, and he took on a real tough character there. So those two guys go to the sin bins. The Wolfpack have the early lead on the goal by Jessamine. We'll be right back. Frank Lessard leads the AHL penalty minutes, and he took on the rookie Crosty.
Well, Crosty trying to make a name for himself, and you know, like I just mentioned, Bobby, why not go after the guy with the most penalty minutes in the league? 247 going in. Unfortunately, maybe someone didn't tell him about the left hand that Lessard possesses, because he was begging for a right after a while.
Both of those guys will cool their heels for 5, and there won't be any power play. Lampman hands off to Pikkarainen. He one-hands it to Dawes. Hit by Schmidt, but he's able to play it in the Manchester zone. Moving back is Harold. Lead pass up the gut, doesn't find any teammates. Lampman nearly had it hop away from him. Now he feeds to Pikkarainen. Passes off of Bore's skates, but he knocks Gauthier down. Now Bore is spilled, but up comes Dawes. He shoots one, and Brust gets a shoulder on that. It's up and out of place, and bumping and grinding in the neutral zone there, and Bore was able to set Dawes up for a good rush.
Action picking up, as you mentioned, Bobby, in the neutral zone. A couple of good hits right in front of the Wolfpack bench right there. And then the little double team there. Just make sure everyone's in the game right now.
And because two guys went to hit Bore, there was a lane for Dawes toward the net, and Brust made a good save.
Yeah, he was able to get his arm on it, but great point.
Wolfpack at the forecheck going. Here's Dubinsky cutting in front with a nice move. Big save by Brust with the left skate, and back come the Monarchs. Hanko trying to get the puck to sit down for him. He can't do so. Purinton fends him off, and Jessamine will play it to Byers. Here's Dubinsky now flipping it wide of the cage. Brust can't get it away from Byers. He'll throw it toward the front, and Brust tips it away to the far side. Here's Degon's drive right on. It's knocked down by Brust. And it'll be kept in high in the slot by Dubinsky. Firing, and that hits Byers and goes wide. Purinton pinches in, and Dubinsky covers for him. Now Purinton finds Byers behind the net, tied up by Petio. Now Jessamine has it. Now to the veteran Purinton. Back to Jessamine, who has the game's only goal thus far. Again to Purinton, long shot. Flitters on goal after it got deflected. Brust can't cover it. Now he gathers it in, still can't get it covered, and finally he does for a whistle from Koharski.
A good shift for Dubinsky, and Bobby, he seems to be playing with a lot more confidence right now. He made a great move in front that the Brust had to be alert and make a good save on, and then Jessamine working along the wall. He's also a guy, I think, that is playing with some confidence right now, and you can see it in watching some of these guys. And it's remarkable to see the progression, and you see every game, but to watch the progression through the course of the season with this club.
Lifton for the Wolfpack. Can't get it past to Halloran. There's going to be a penalty, and this one's going against the Monarchs. Or is it? Lifton has the gloves off, and the stick dropped.
Lifton threw a punch at Jackman already, Bobby, and I think Jackman kind of backed off from that. As you were following the play on the other side of the ice, I saw Lifton and Jackman start to go, and Lifton threw a punch, and then Jackman backed off.
I thought he blew the play dead with the Monarchs in control, but apparently not, as only Lifton's going to go. Manchester's going to gain the game's first man advantage. Now they've taken the 2 minutes off the board that were up next to Lifton, and they've replaced it with 4 minutes. So Lifton's picked up a double minor here for going at Jackman. And Jim Schoenfeld obviously is incredulous at that. And we'll get a look at it here.
What's going to happen down the play? It's a good shot of how it develops. Great job by the crew. You know, and credit him for keeping his gloves on and turning the other cheek.
Hardly looks worth a double-minor to my eyes, but give Jackman credit for keeping the gloves on and drawing Lifton into it. So an extended power play here for the Manchester Monarchs. Now you've got a whistle and a stoppage. And somebody was barking from the Wolfpack bench, it looks like. And Koharski's got an unsportsmanlike conduct call upcoming. And the Pack will be 2 men short. I don't know if that was Jim Schoenfeld saying something to Koharski, but clearly,
well, you would think
he's not too happy right now.
And certainly, again, a great job. The shot we had of Schoenfeld right after the infraction when he saw the 4 minutes would lead you to believe that. You know, again, you credit the guy Jackman in this case, Bob. It didn't look like anything that would be. You can see that maybe the 2 certainly, as opposed to the 4, getting a 2 men, not the double, and I think that's what obviously what Schoenfeld had exception to.
Draw be to the left of Montoya as Manchester starts a full 2-minute 5-on-3. Wolfpack win the faceoff. They can't clear though. It'll be played by Murray. He drops it off to Tverdovsky. Back to Marty Murray. Again to Tverdovsky. Tverdovsky to Murray. Back to Tverdovsky. He fakes the drive. Monarchs being patient here. Peter Harold firing gloves. Saved by Montoya. And he will squeeze it.
Well, how many times do you say it, Bob? Your best penalty killer, your goaltender, and it really holds true. And Montoya was able to have a view at the shot there coming in and made the glove save and held on. As you look at Mark Morris, boy, what an outstanding job he's done throughout his coaching career. A guy that had his career end early, I believe when he was playing in New Haven as a member of the New Haven Nighthawks. He was a defenseman and had an eye injury, and Coach Clarkson had great success there and doing an outstanding job, of course, with Manchester.
Tverdovsky cutting in, shooting that, misses just wide. Piter does a good job to fend off Jackman to get the rebound, but he can't get enough on a clearing attempt. Tverdovsky over to Murray. Now he drops it back to Tverdovsky, to Harold, blasting when he scores! Montoya got a big piece of that with a glove, but it got in behind him. Manchester cashes in on the 5-on-3. They've tied it at 1, still 3:05 remaining on the double minor to Lifton.
Well, they certainly were patient in setting that up, didn't panic before they were able to get a good shot. And Montoya, as you said, Bobby, got a piece of it, not all of it, and the Monarchs were able to tie the game at 1.
Harold, the first-year pro defenseman, who's already had some time with the Kings in LA this year with his 6th goal of the year. And now it'll be a 5-on-4 for Manchester. Shots are 9-8 in favor of the Wolfpack. They had 2 or 3 separate opportunities to clear the puck during that 5-on-3 after good defensive plays down low and never got it out.
I think the key for the Wolfpack here is, all right, they've got the goal, forget about it now and kill off the rest of this and gain the momentum back, and you're all even again, and just try to kill this off and gain some momentum back and then go back into doing the things that you do well. It's certainly an unfortunate, that the first penalty looked like it should have been a 2-minute penalty, not the 4, and then they get the bench minor after that.
Jim Schoenfeld has left the Wolfpack bench, it looks like here, Rich. I don't know if he was given a game misconduct, but right now the assistant coaching duo of Ken Jernander, who's in that shot, at J.J. Daniel just to our left of Jernander, appear to be in control.
Hopefully Glenn Conticello can find out for us, and maybe we'll hear the announcement here, but certainly that's what you would think, that Schoenfeld would have been tossed from the game.
We've got Glenn Conticello down at ice level. Glenn?
Well, guys, Jim Schoenfeld just left the bench, as you can clearly see. I had thought he was waved off the bench when the penalty, the unsportsmanlike, was called, yet he stayed there, and the official kept looking back, and now, again, he's not on the ice. He actually walked by me about 15 feet behind me towards his coach's office, so I'm waiting for the announcement, too. It could have been a game misconduct. Well, no, he's back on the ice. I just think he had to go get something because he was... he had ran it, just time. It was coincidence. He has to run back to his coach's office, but he's back on the bench now.
The scoreboard shows a minute 11 on one penalty and a minute 6 on another penalty. I don't know how that works. A minute 6 next to Lifton's number and a minute 11 next to Jessamine, who was serving the bench minor. And the way it was announced, Lifton got 4 minutes at 7:55, and then the bench got 2 minutes at 8:06. So it seemed to me as though the bench minor should come off after the goal was scored, and then it should be a 5-on-4 power play for the balance of what was left on Lifton's penalties, but that's not what the scoreboard indicates right now.
You're right, Bob, and that's maybe what they're discussing right now, and maybe Schoenfeld sent Craig Weller over to find out, but that would make perfect sense what you just described. Now, if it has anything to do with Schoenfeld leaving the bench momentarily.
Here comes Weller back across to the Wolfpack bench area to report what his discussion with Koharski produced. And now they have 2 minutes on the penalty to Lifton. So apparently that having been called first, it causes it to be knocked down to 2 minutes, because the 5-on-3 goal was scored within the first half of that double minor. Is all that I can come up with as an explanation, and they leave the remaining time on the bench minor. So I guess the front half of the double minor is considered to be the first penalty that was called. So that's what comes off the board, and in essence then knocks Lifton's penalty time down to 2 minutes. So that's really a kick in the teeth for the Wolfpack.